says you can't have it all and even a little more? All month long, Brian is throwing in a free ticket to Launchpreneur Academy Live when you buy the whole ball of wax at launchpreneuracademy.com. Now, the whole ball of wax is all the training programs, documents, resources, postcard designs, and future content that will be made available at the website. If you've never been to launchpreneuracademy.com, stop the podcast. Check it out right now. The savings of buying it all in this one package is truly remarkable. Plus, you receive one free Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022 admission for the November 12th event in Novi, Michigan. This deal ends August 31st. And yes, tickets to the event can be purchased separately from the Whole Ball of Wax promotion.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no-nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys. And today, we've got another great guest interview lined up for you guys. I'm so excited about getting a familiar friend back on the show, familiar voice. You guys know him. You guys love him. We've got none other than the man, Kory Ballard, joining us back on the show. Kory, good afternoon. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Glad to be back on. It's, Friday. I guess I don't know when you're airing this, but it's Friday and the sun's out. It's been about 100 degrees every day. So just trying to get through the summer.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, frankly, it's been the same thing over here. It's 98 every single day this last week. We had 105 real feels on Wednesday, which was... we had that again 2 weeks ago, which was really weird, very unseasonable. But hey, you turn on the news and the world's burning down from here to Europe, Kory. So I guess that global warming thing, maybe there's some merit to it, right? Who knows? But
that's why I don't watch the news, Brian.
Global warming, then global cooling, then global warming, then global cooling. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whoever invented that, though, they're a genius. They're probably making money and sending that to the bank. So anyway, if you guys don't know Kory Ballard, Kory, why don't you introduce yourself? Give us the minute or two highlight reel, because I feel like every time I get to catch up with you in person or on the phone, business is changing, life is changing, things are structuring different. You're moving, you're always crushing it. Give these guys the 2-minute synopsis, man. Where are things at today?
Yeah, so if you don't know, we have Perficut Site Management out of Des Moines, Iowa. We've got a branch in Omaha and Cedar Rapids. We actually sold that to a national company, but I still sit on our strategy team and still involved in that company daily. And then, of course, we have the Ballard products line. And so we're working really hard on that in the process of building a new building, a 25,000 square foot warehouse. I'm hopefully going to get concrete down yet this fall, and that build process will start in the spring. And so, yeah, we're just working on a lot of good things and, excited about what's coming up and trying to take care of our team. And we've got a new guy starting August 1st. So helping with our customer service and support. So, yeah, just grinding along. It's a little bit slower right now, which I'm a guy that likes top line sales, but it's kind of nice to catch our breath a little bit. May and June were absolutely just bonkers. And so it's kind of nice to have a little slowdown. And we pick back up in the fall a lot with a lot of different products and, with fall services in the lawn and landscape side too. So, and then getting, prepared for snow removal, obviously. So yeah, things are good here, man. Just time's flying and it's crazy. It's Monday, it's Friday, it's Monday, it's Friday. It's the weeks are going by quick.
I hear you, man. Absolutely. The season's going by quick. We're at the end of July here, and we're already, 3 months, 4 months into this thing, and only 3 or 4 months left. We're halfway. So, let me do this really quick. One thing I got to say before we really jump into it is you're actually coming to LAL 2022. I'm really excited about that. You guys are actually one of the presenting sponsors. I wanted to, some way, shape, or form, keep you guys involved in the whole thing. I wanted to get you to come. Again, so many people love having you there. You're not speaking this year, but you're actually doing you volunteered because I roped you into it. And I said, do you mind doing a breakout session with you and Nick Carlson Sunday morning? Those tickets, by the way, have already sold out. There was only 20 of them, an elite breakout session and masterclass Sunday morning. So Kory, you're going to be doing that with Nick Carlson and myself. And basically I'm just going to MC it while you guys both just drop bombs. But thank you for sponsoring, being one of the 4 presenting sponsors with Xmark, Yardbook, Perficut, Ballard products, and then Shirt Track. So thank you again for keeping the ticket price down and helping us cover some overhead costs. We really appreciate your support there.
Awesome. We're excited for it. It's a good time. I love talking about our industry and I like talking to people. And so it'll be fun. We'll get over there and spend some time with some guys and And then I think you got some new speakers, which I always enjoy as well. I'm always trying to learn as much as I can. And so yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Well, hopefully we can get you there sometime early, Friday, to enjoy the full throttle adrenaline go-kart race. Because last time, man, I don't know what happened. You, how did the things go? Like, did you even place top 10?
I only ran the heat. I never ran the finals. I only ran the heat, and then we ended up playing some bags. And I'm not making excuses, but I race real cars, so I'm just saying, like, I just think that it's a little different. We'll see.
It's a little different. Everybody's like, "Hey, is Kory Ballard gonna? He races professionally. Is he gonna be a podium finish?" And I said, "I don't know." But Austin Douglas took the crown, and I think I was like 4th or something. But I started in like a 9th pole position. You know what I mean? So like, I think going from 9th place to 4th, that's not too bad. But so hopefully we get Kory back out there and we'll get him racing around. That's going to be a really good time. If you guys don't know, we have our live event in November, Entrepreneur Academy Live. A bunch of you guys have been picking up tickets. Super appreciate the support. We're up to like 75 ticket sales, which is really, really good. Limited at 400. So if you guys want to get a ticket, please get a ticket. It's going to be a great time. And the Friday go-kart track is all part of that for free, which is really, really cool. So here's what I want to talk about for a few minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about snow, talk about equipment, talk about just a little state of the union, I guess, if you will. I really enjoyed listening to your guys' podcast earlier in the week was with you and Leroy Maines on the Green Grind podcast. So you guys were talking, Kory. You did a kind of a different podcast, which was cool, and probably got some interesting questions that you wouldn't think maybe of normally. But it was like a Q&A podcast. So talk to me a little bit about that recent episode, because you before we hit record, you were saying you guys got a lot of great feedback on that show.
Yeah, we just wanted to do something different, and we're always trying to bring different guests on, not only in our industry, but, we've had financial advisors and insurance people on, and we've got an actual professional race car driver coming on, really just talking about overcoming adversity and different things. And then I think Ben from Australia had mentioned, he's like, hey, you should kind of do a Q&A. And I'm like, that's a good idea. We had thought about it and kind of talked about it before. And so we just had guys send in some questions, and then Leroy and I addressed them. And it was actually the easiest podcast we've done, because questions were already queued up for us, and he got to give his perspective and my perspective, and we had a lot of feedback that guys really enjoyed that episode, and we're probably going to do that. We might do it once a month, or for sure, once a quarter, and I think that's a great way to get interaction with our followers and listeners, and address the questions and things that are going on, because some of the things that we're dealing with maybe are totally different than a guy that got 2 employees and wondering about that next step. And so yeah, we had a lot of fun with it, and we appreciate all the followers on the Green Grind. It's getting a lot of traction, and I don't need to tell you, Brian, but the podcast, it's a lot of work, man. I mean, we only do one a week. We only do one a week. Every Tuesday it drops, and sometimes we're like, shit, what do we do, man? We got to keep doing these.
Yeah. Well,
when you have a sponsor, you got to keep trying to do, put out good content.
Yep. Well, it was a really good show. I didn't see where the questions, on stories on Instagram or on Facebook, but because I caught the podcast, but I was like, oh dang, I would have submitted a question myself, but that probably went up a day or two before, or same day. I just never shared it to me, on Instagram. I don't know why, but I was like, dang it, I'm bummed that I missed that story, because I would have submitted a question. But that being said, I want to kind of cover some of the stuff that you guys might have already talked about on that show. So apologies if it's a little repetitive, but I was telling Kory straight up, I was like, dude, that's probably one of the best episodes, from audio wise to content wise, that you guys have put out in recent weeks, recent months. I listen to the show every Tuesday when it drops. But you guys were talking a lot about, and here's the questions that everybody was submitting, right, Kory, was questions about margins, questions about snow, questions about billing, questions about equipment. And the way that you and Leroy were able to kind of mastermind off of each other answering these questions was really, really good. So I thought it was a really good episode. If you guys haven't listened to it, kind of go back and check that out. One of the things I wrote down first, I got just a little list here: margins, snow prices, seasonal snow billing, equipment. So I want to talk about margin, because Kory, like everybody right now, gas is through the roof, labor's through the roof. Equipment costs are through the roof, for crying out loud. Mowers are $16,000. 4 years ago, they were $12,000, right? Talk about margin for a bit, because if you don't mind, because the reality is, like, all of our costs are going up. Some people didn't even raise prices, or they raised prices 3% or 5% when they could have or should have maybe, raised them 12, 15, 20%. So people's margins are under attack. And you had said, try to make that up with auxiliary services if you're maybe locked into contracts, or maybe you're just not getting it in mowing. So can you talk about that for a couple minutes, what you guys are doing? What's your strategy behind the scenes?
Yeah, Perficut being mainly a commercial service and site management company, a lot of our contracts are long-term. And, I've talked to a lot of guys that, maybe they're just doing residential and they're like, man, I can't raise my prices. And I'm like, well, why can't you? And so I guess if you're scared to raise your prices, I encourage you to make some changes. I know it's tough mid-season right now. You should have done it pre-season. You can still adjust prices mid-season, even if it's a small amount, whether it's in person or whether you send a nice letter that just says, due to the economy and gas prices and labor prices, we've got to make a small increase. I think almost all your customers are going to stay with you if you're doing a quality job. If you can't get $5 or $10 more a mow, I really question the partnership that you have with your clients. But if you can't do that right now, one of the things that we've done, and we've made 2 increases this year, it's on our enhancement work. So the stuff that's one-offs could be anything from edging, pruning, landscape replacements where we're replacing shrubs, dead trees, mulching, everything that we do, anything that we're bidding today, we're really trying to make up that extra margin because we have to get it somewhere. And, so and I think people at this point, they understand that everything costs more money. So you're not going to shock them. It's not like 2 years ago, if you would have sent out a 15% increase, everybody would have been like, whoa, what happened? But right now, I think most people understand that, especially if you do it with a little bit of class and do it professionally, not like, hey man, all my stuff costs more, so I need to make more.
Right.
Like, I'm just trying to survive. Like we want to stay in business. We want to take care of our people. We want to be able to provide your service to you next year. We might not be here. So, I encourage guys to do that. I've helped a few guys this year that have really got rid of some accounts. Like, hey, man, I really need to cut my bottom tier accounts. And how do I go about doing that? And Aaron from Thunderbirds, I think he got rid of maybe 20 accounts. I could be wrong. And he's like, oh, my God, our mowing schedule is easier to manage. We're making more money doing less. My guys aren't getting overtime. So in most guys, what I don't like is when people say, yeah, I'll work on that in the winter. I'm like, so you're going to lose money the rest of the year?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Stop. You can make changes in July and August. You certainly can make changes in July and August. Again, if you're a guy that maybe has 40 residentials, you can put together a nice letter and if you bump them off $5, it makes a big difference. And, I do think that, our margins are down at Perficut, certainly. Our labor's up, our fuel's up, everything's up as we just discussed. So, I just encourage guys to really look at at their business, understand their numbers. I know we all beat that up, know your numbers, but, Leroy, when he was talking, he looked at his business and he said, what am I good at? And what do I make the most money at? And that's what I'm going to focus on. So he downsized his mowing significantly. And he's focusing on the things that he's making margin. And so that's what I encourage guys to do and look for some add-on work. If you're out at your client's house and you're just a mow, blow and go, can you do some extra work when you're there? And, is there some fall pruning, fall aeration, fall cleanups, again, raising some elevation on some trees, some small pruning jobs, hey, we'd love to stick edge, whatever it may be, just to try to maximize your bill out for that stop. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but it's going to be tough right now. I know everybody's like, gas is coming down. I'm like, well, it came down to $4.10. I mean,
right.
It's like, it's kind of funny. I just filled up this morning and I'm like, oh, it was actually $3.92 or $3.96. I felt like I got a deal. But, if you would have told me that 2 years ago, that $3.96 or whatever it was, I'm like, I'd have told you were out of your mind.
Right.
And it was still $110 to fill my truck up.
Lawns, landscaping, and outdoor awesomeness, that's what your business does best. Managing your vehicles and optimizing efficiency with the latest technology is what we do best. GPS Track It provides a 24/7 view of where your company vehicles are and how efficiently they're operating, saving you time and money. With more than 12,000 customers, GPS Track It has delivered peace of mind for lawn and landscaping companies for 20 years. Ready to protect your vehicles and save money? Talk with one of our fleet advisors. There's no pressure, no hassles. Call 833-385-0252 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to learn more. Those details are in the show notes. GPS Track It.
It's just expensive right now to run a business, and every on every level, we're paying our people more than we've ever paid them, and I think you have to if you want to keep them.
Well, I was going to say, to piggyback off of that, I was talking to Troy Clark the other day. We got breakfast, and I said, "How's the salt prices?" And he just sat back and laughed, which is code for like,
laugh.
Yeah. He's like, that's the you're in for it conversation, right? And he's like, Brian, with this and that, and bagging material, and delivery fees, and fuel, and this and that. He goes, everything's up 15 to 20%. He's like, we're about to get that final number here in the next week or two, but we did this video for a plow giveaway that he's doing. If you guys haven't checked that YouTube video out, and he said, don't give it away. He's like, don't give away your work. Don't give away your services. And he goes, bump those rates. He goes, you guys lose hours of sleep, and we're out in the heat, the cold, all that stuff. And, we're preaching to the choir. You guys know this stuff, but I said this before to other folks, and I said, right now, if you had 100 clients and you raised them $5, it's $500 a week times 26 weeks or whatever you guys do for a mowing season. That's $10,000, $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 that you got to keep edging forward. You got to keep staying ahead of the game. And if you're a multi-million-dollar company like a Perficut, I mean that's a great way to go from a 15-20% margin down to 11% really quick. And we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars on the bottom line that you have to pay attention to. And don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty at all. I mean, there's every customer that we all have. I guarantee you, we're all of us listening on the show are leaving money on the table somewhere where we could bump somebody 5, 10, 20%. I guarantee it. And and this is the kind of time to get that money. You got to be running a tight ship. You and Leroy talked about that for 15, 20 minutes. So I just thought it was a really, really interesting thing where maybe you're not getting the money that you want on your mowing. Maybe you are locked in. Maybe you are afraid. Maybe you don't want to raise those rates. We get it for 100 different reasons. We get it. But if you are going to go do work or different work, at least make sure you're moving the needle forward on that work. People seem less concerned, Kory, if you will, at least I've seen, with people raising prices on hedge trimming and, cleaning up a whole, shrub line for $900 than they do with their weekly mow price going up $2, a week. So go get that money either which way. Kory, anything else you want to add on that? But if not, I got the next topic really quick here.
No, you're right on. You're right on there. I just think you guys got to take the fear out of it. I talk to so many guys like, you don't understand my market, and no one's going to pay us that. And I'm like, but I think they are. So I mean, I know it's scary. It's a scary proposition. But if you send it out 50 letters and 5 people cancel, you'll make the same amount of money or more with the 45 you kept. So
yes.
I know it's scary, but man, this is tough work, guys. We can't go out. And we got to make money, and we got to raise our prices. Yeah,
I think Leroy said, he goes, you had said something like, oh, I don't want to raise my prices a couple bucks and go on out and all this stuff, and people are like, well, I don't want to leave. And Leroy had joked, he said, I'd rather keep my truck parked in the driveway and not send the guys out, not go lose money on a job. And I'm like, yeah, that's the truth. I've been saying a lot more no's than I have been yeses to a lot of different opportunities like that lately, right? Talking about snow prices and seasonal snow billing. We've had you on the show once or twice before talking about snow. You guys have a huge footprint on snow. Can you share the story that you had on the Green Grind? Basically, we'll just replay the Green Grind on today's show, apparently. But the Perficut wasn't a huge snow company, or what? Let me put it this way: snow wasn't a huge part of what you guys did. It was a division, but you guys weren't trying to be top Inc. 100 or whatever, landscape management 100, 150, like you guys are today. So can you help some of those guys? Maybe they have a $700,000 a year company, and they want to go to 3 million, 5 million, and maybe snow is that next opportunity. Can you explain how you guys did it with Perficut, and then piggybacking on that, you had said moving to a seasonal snow billing system changed a lot of things for you guys, and I think your partner came up with that. You were alluding to. I'm all ears. I'd love to hear that. I'm always trying to get better with snow, always trying to learn the nuances. So how did you guys grow your snow division, and then how did billing maybe change for the better for you guys?
Yeah, so snow was just something in the beginning we did to keep guys busy. And, we had a couple of years there where we had about 60 inches of snow, which is about 20 inches more than our typical market here.
Sure.
And So we made some money, right? Just because we had a lot of snow and we didn't have the right equipment. We were billing hourly back then. And we started really looking at it and saying, man, we can make money doing snow. Why are we looking at snow as just something we do to stay busy? And so we started really changing. Okay, we started with what kind of clients would we like to get? What's our ideal client? What do we think we're good at? And so that was the start of the process. And then it was what's our market advantage? What can we do different? And what so we started looking at seasonal pricing, and that gave our clients budget certainty. But we went in and sold it different. And I know a lot of you guys do residential, so you're going to say it's not quite the same. But from a commercial standpoint, we went in and started talking about risk management.
Okay.
And, what we bring to the table. We do site maps. We do, full video for inspections pre and post season. So if curbs are damaged, we have a video of the site before the season and after the season, staking, where are the handicap stalls, where are the fire hydrants. And we started going in there and talking to them about risk management and not about price. And once we started selling them on what we bring to the table, then price becomes secondary. And so we started looking at that, and then we did the seasonal thing. And we were one of the first in the entire industry, including in the U.S., to really start doing this. And Matt was actually on the board, I think, with Triclog, and started talking about how we implemented that into our business. And that's pretty standard anymore for most of the large, snow contractors. But really looking at seasonal, and I thought, how are people going to really pay us if it doesn't snow?
Right. That's the biggest question we get, right?
But these large companies, they also want a budget. They have a budget that they have to set, so they like to know what they're going to spend. They want to know, is my snow going to cost me $50,000, $100,000, whatever that number is?
Okay.
Versus just getting this invoice every month, and it just got 72 truck hours, 125 man shovel hours, 19 ton of salt. I mean, and they just, every month their snow, they just get this number that flies all over the place. So we started looking at, seasonal snow and explaining to our clients what comes with that. You're going to pay X per month for these 5 months. It includes, this. We always have a cap in there in our market at 40 inches. So if we have a year where we get 60, they certainly pay a little extra. We also have a rebate in there for less than 25 inches. So if we have a really, really light winter, they get a little kickback, but not all of it, because we still have the equipment and the manpower allocated. And when we did that, not only did we get way more profitable, but we also were able to keep our staff on, because we knew we had cash flow regardless of whether it snowed or not. And so it totally changed our business. We used to sit around and frickin' pray for snow. Like, oh my God, we got to get snow. If we don't get some snow Friday, like, I'm not sure we can make payroll.
Right.
And so once we had this seasonal snow concept in place, I was amazed at how many large companies went with it and liked it. You can implement it in residential as well, where you sell a package of, for X dollars, we do 15 pushes. It includes X, Y, and Z. We do an initial drag, then we come back and do a final clean, and we do walks and sidewalks and stoops. But we just had to take a different approach at it. But to do that, you also have to know exactly how long it really takes. So in the very beginning, we missed a few. We certainly underbid some. But we had to really understand, if we put, X, Y, and Z equipment on site, this is how long it's going to take us to do it. And that also changed our mentality into getting the most efficient equipment possible. Because in the old days, if you're doing something hourly, if I'm pushing snow hourly, I really don't have any motivation to do it faster, right? Why would I get, instead of a 10-foot pusher on a skid loader, why would I get a 12-foot pusher? I'm going to actually spend more for the pusher. I'm going to do the commercial parking lot in an hour and a half less. So I'm actually going to make less money getting more efficient.
Right.
So once you go to seasonal, or even per push, there's, we do quite a few per pushes as well, or flat rate billing. Then it changes your mentality on, I can spend more money on the latest and greatest equipment, because now it's all about efficiency.
Right.
How quickly can you do it? Instead of 19 guys that are shoveling a mall, can we do it with 3 sidewalk machines and 2 hand laborers? And so you start to change your mentality. And when we did that, for us, it completely changed our business. It changed our cash flow. Today, snow removal is the largest division at Perficut. It's the most profitable division at Perficut. We no longer have to lay people off. We had a year where, before we got fully seasonal, we had a year where we just didn't get any snow. I'm telling you what, Brian, we had some tough conversations. We had to force everybody to take 2 weeks off unpaid including owners.
Wow.
We also listen, and those are tough meetings to have. When you start bringing in your management team and admin team and say, hey guys, everybody needs to take 2 weeks off unpaid. We're going to do this in a stagger. Everybody kind of pick based on tenure when you're going to take your 2 weeks off. Those are tough conversations to have. And we looked at it, I remember Matt and I looked at each other and said, man, we never again. We've got to build a better system. We can't lay people off because we didn't build a business or have a substantial cash flow or enough savings to weather a low winter. And we just have too much overhead. And whether you're big or small, you can't go all winter and just pray for snow and not make any money. So I just encourage guys to really look at how they're doing their snow removal. It's tough work. It's long hours. It's hard on your equipment. It's not fun. I mean, kind of fun. It can be fun, but it's fun for about 6 hours, maybe 10.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun in November, December, maybe the first half of January. In February, March, you're like, please stop. Please stop. So,
so just for us, we just had to change our entire outlook on snow and turn it into a profit center instead of just a service that we offer.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because most guys they I wouldn't say they start with snow, but they realize maybe just from all the content that's been put out the last 5 years that like seems like snow's where the money's at, and then residential and commercial landscape construction, and then the maintenance, right? Like kind of in that order. So it's really interesting that you guys kind of did it out of a necessity last. You guys were good at everything else first, almost. It seems like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. Let me ask you this. A question that I have personally that maybe some guys are wondering is, how did you guys know to set your pricing and billing when you went from a per push or flat rate to a seasonal average? You said there's a little, it's based on 40 this, but if it is high, it's more. If it's less, you get a rebate. That's understandable. But how do you get your baseline numbers if you guys, let's say you only went to a seasonal charge, like a monthly charge, and let's say it's $200,000 to manage a site and it's whatever, 40,000 over 5 months or whatever the numbers are. How did you get your averages on how much time or equipment, manpower it would take? Like, how did you get your baseline average? And then did you get bit? Was it always in your favor? Did you overcharge, undercharge? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, luckily for us, we had a lot of data. We still had been doing snow for a long time. And so and you can really, and there's quite a bit out there. I mean, some of these, companies have, just like a mower, it'll show a 61-inch scag can cut X amount of acres per hour under, at this speed.
Yep.
And so we started really figuring out, we built a matrix for us, what we call a matrix. And John Allen, actually, who was a huge snow guy in the 80s, did a ton of snow. He was kind of the godfather of snow removal at the time. And he helped us actually build this out. And we used some of his formulas, and a pusher, a 10-foot pusher can move this much, this many acres of snow an hour, this many square feet. And so we started working it that way. But for us, we had enough data that I wouldn't say we certainly didn't wing it by any means, but we certainly were on the high side. And we had enough data. We looked back and we started with some of our biggest and best clients. And we said, okay, we had 8 inches of snow on December 9th. We had this amount of equipment there. It took us this long. So we know it. How much time would it take if we had a foot? How much time would it take if we had 2 inches? And then what equipment in a perfect world, what equipment would be put on site? Mm-hmm. We just started really running the numbers. I don't think we missed very many where we were like, holy smokes, we completely underbid this, because we were certainly on the high side. And then we had to invest in the equipment, right? We had to, have 2-speed skid loaders with, we use Arctic sectionals. We just started really putting the right equipment on site. Wheel loaders. We don't use a lot of pickups anymore because, if we're getting set rates and seasonal, we want to be as efficient as possible. Mm-hmm, so we just changed our mentality with the equipment. And but we knew, I don't know if I can answer this exactly right. We had to put it in the matrix. We know exactly how many linear feet of sidewalk there are. Okay, how many square foot of concrete are we removing? What equipment are we going to put on site? How long should it take in a 2-inch snow, 3-inch snow? And then we start factoring in, okay, how many events? We went back and looked at some historic data and said, okay, in Iowa, let's look back the last 10, 25 years. How many events do we typically get? And we started averaging it out, and that's how we sold it. I can't take the credit for it. Matt Bowman, who is my business partner, and he put, I don't even know, hundreds of hours into it. And
absolutely.
And really built out a program that now, if you called me and said, hey, we've got a mall in Detroit, we literally put it in our system and it'll spit out exactly what we should charge. I mean, we have to put in the equipment. We're going to use 3 wheel loaders, 2 skid loaders, 4 sidewalk machines, 2 trucks, and it'll just spit out. Boom, boom, boom. A 2-inch snow is going to take, 11 hours start to finish. And then we can start working from there. And so,
wow, that's awesome.
A lot of guys are thinking, well, shit, I don't have that data. Right. But you got to start somewhere, pick a couple of your sites and look back at your data from how long were you there and start working it that way. And, you just got to start thinking outside the box if you want to really, and I'm telling you, Brian, the guys that are doing snow and doing it well are making a lot of money doing snow. There's companies that just do snow, as you know.
Yep.
We've actually joked about it. We're like, we could just do snow and take all summer off. I mean, we really could.
Yeah.
And because we built such a great model, and but it's a little trial and error as well. But it all comes back to, at the end of the day, I don't believe anybody should be doing snow hourly. It doesn't make sense. You can have a per push, which I'm okay with. 1 to 3, we charge X. 3.1 to 6, we charge X. 6.1 to 9, we charge X. 9.1 to 12, we charge X. That model we still have incorporated in some of our accounts that don't want seasonal. But the days of doing things hourly are really just counterintuitive. They're just counterproductive too. Like I said, I'm going to put so the longer I'm there, the more the customer pays for if I put my worst truck and my least experienced guy on site, I actually make more money.
Right.
But, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then it also gets to the point where guys will say, customers can say, well, Jim's Lawn Care said he's $85 an hour with the truck and blade, and you guys are $125. I'm like, well, what truck's he running? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Has he got a 7-foot straight blade? Does he have a Boss 9.6, or is he going to put? I mean, there's so many factors. So he's cheaper, but what's he using for equipment? How much experience does he have? And so you're willing to just let a guy come in and just see how long it takes every time, and then every month you just get this random bill that you have no way of verifying. You get this bill. You say you run a hotel, and it just says 22 truck hours for the month of December. Okay, I just guess I got to pay 22 truck hours.
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
Instead of saying we got 6.4 inches of snow, I paid $912.
Right.
That's what the price is. That's, whatever the number is.
That's that's so good. I went to the MGIA Snow and Ice Show last year. I don't remember, August, September, October, whatever it was. And Mike Anderson, he was a guest on our show. He's over in Indiana, Fort Wayne area somewhere, maybe, and or maybe not Fort Wayne, maybe I don't know. It was northwest, corner of Indiana. He's like, hey, we'll bring our equipment to Chicago. We'll bring it to Michigan. We'll bring it to wherever. If you guys get snow and we don't have snow, he's like, well, we'll come over. And he's a snow only guy. He's got, I don't know, 40 trucks, 40 employees, whatever, and they're a 4-month business. He's got 5 daughters, I think it was, and he takes 8 months off. He wanted to be a full-time dad, the whole deal. And, but he came, he was the guest speaker, and Kory, I was talking to Troy the other day. Kory, the interesting thing is there was a class. He did one. It was how to run a more profitable snow business. And then there was another class, and I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying, this is just the mentality of where people are at. I'm always trying to figure out the why, not necessarily the how. The how will get solved if you figure out the why. So there's the other side of the ballroom. It's all things latest and greatest equipment on snow equipment. Okay. So Kory, if there was 100 people that went to the classes and there's 2 ballrooms, what do you think the spread was? Percentage wise?
Everybody went and looked at equipment, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it was 92 to 8 people, Kory. It was crazy. I'm not kidding. And that's fine and that's cool, but I'm like, dude, who cares about the new Western Wideout or the Boss whatever, It's like, and then so I go to Mike Anderson's class, and dude, he gave 40 slide presentation. It was dry, but it was all meat. And he's like, every one of those things you talked about, he gave us the production rates on snow blowers, snow shovelers, 8-foot blade, 7/6 blade, 8-foot blade, 8-foot 6 blade, 9/2 blade, 10-foot wideout blade, 12-foot, 14-foot, 20-foot pushers, whatever. Dude, salt per this speed. I mean, everything. And I'm just like, can we take photos of this? And he's like, yeah, I don't care. And I'm snapping photos. I got a whole damn slide, photo album on my phone of just his presentation. And I'm like, you're giving this away for free? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, and I give stuff away for free all the time too. But I'm like, bro, this is insane. And, I'm telling you what, like, and then the class lets out and there's literally like 90 people in this other room, standing room only, about the latest and greatest snow equipment. And I'm just like, and I'm like, no wonder nobody in this industry is making and I don't want to be mean. I'm not the standard. I'm figuring this stuff out every day, just like you guys, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's like, you wonder why people in the industry struggle. And it's like, because they're not trying to get the right info, the right answers. They're oogling fresh paint, and that's fine. But I can't pay my wife's, I can't pay our house mortgage and put, a trust fund together for my daughter with fresh paint. I need education. I need IQ. I need the info, I need the sauce. And that's what I'm always trying to just dig, Kory.
Well, if you learn how to be profitable and do things right, you can buy all that equipment. See, people got it so backwards. It's like,
yes.
Yeah, but if I had better equipment, I'm like, no, but your equipment can be bought. You got to figure out the business model first. The model's got to be flawless. I mean, and it's so crazy to me. I talk to people all the time, and it's like, dude, like you're doing it backwards. You got to figure out your pricing structure and all those things, and then you can buy all the shiny stuff. I mean, and you can buy some shiny stuff that doesn't make you money if you want to. There you go. I agree with you. Like it is crazy that I think I've mentioned numerous times on here and on the Green Grind, but. When I was doing some consulting, I asked people if they'd rather be big or profitable, and they all said big. And I'm like, man, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You don't profit, man. You gotta make money, and that comes with, again, it's a little bit of ego, and everybody wants to buy the latest and greatest and cool stuff. But when you build the right business model and right pricing structure and client relations, and offer something in your local market that the other competition isn't, you can price yourself totally different, be insanely profitable, and then you can buy all the shiny stuff you want.
Yeah. Or you don't, and stuff that you don't need, like you said, the fun, stupid stuff, right? So,
exactly.
I'll tell you straight up. After that breakout session that was part of the show, I went back and redid all my snow pricing. I was like, okay, this carried the two, did some mental math. I didn't have a fancy matrix. I just took the data I had from the last couple of years. I didn't spend 10 hours on this. I spent, an hour and a half, and I'm just like, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. But it gave me some great numbers with my 9.2 boss plow that I have versus all the sites that I have that are all like literally similar. I take on similar size sites for a reason. I have my sweet spot, my jackpot jobs. It's perfect for my company, perfect for my equipment, and the clients that have me, I'm perfect for their price point, right? It's just, that's what I'm good at, and so I'm not doing Amazon fulfillment centers, right? I'm doing 1 and 2 acre sites with so much sidewalk, not too much sidewalk, not too little sidewalk, right? Because we're putting down ice melt and all this other stuff. And I don't know. It's just when you guys were talking about that on the Green Grind, it just got me thinking about snow. And, don't give away the farm. Snow's tough. I mean, lawn care is tough. Everything's tough with what we do. Everything's tough in life anyway. Like, if you're not struggling, you're probably dead. But at the end of the day, like, don't give away the farm is what I keep trying to say. Everybody tells me the same thing. I'm telling you guys the same thing, and just be cognizant of it. So, Kory, if you want to make the pricing or the snow matrix available from Perficut to Launchpreneur Academy, we'll for $9.99. Say that.
I will not do that. We've got massive amounts of hours in it, but at the same time, I want everybody to elevate up, and when we start elevating up, we can all get more money, man. We got to quit beating each other up in these in small markets, big markets, and all over. And, I know guys are going to be listening to this and be like, you know what, that just doesn't apply to me. And I just don't agree with that. I think it applies to it. You can do whatever you want in your business. It's your business. And what do you value? And do you want to be profitable so you can, again, have a profitable company so you can, whether you're spending time with your wife, kids, coaching Little League, going to church, whatever you want to do. But man, I see so many guys and gals just grinding, and I hate to. This sounds like I'm being a dick, but sometimes, and I've told people this, and I'm sure you know that. I've said, just go get a job for somebody. Just go get a job making 65, 70 grand. You have a company truck, 401k, healthcare, and a cell phone, and you'll go home at 6 o'clock. Like, you're just working way too hard for way too little, and you're stressed out, man, and you're too scared to make any changes. And you've got, it's like you got to start thinking outside the box, and and again, there's a lot of people that are just really good in the field, and that doesn't mean you're good at running a business. But the information's out there. We're all putting out this information, and then I hear all this. That's not really the same for me over here in Detroit, and that's not the same for me in Cleveland, and that's not the same for me in Colorado. And I'm like, it is really. It is actually pretty much all the same. It really is at the end of the day. Yeah. Nobody's paying that in my market. Nobody wants to work in my market. I'm like, so there's no big companies in your market? Well, yeah. I'm like, well, they have employees, right? Well, yeah. I'm like, okay, so they're doing something different than what you're doing, right? Okay. So don't tell me nobody wants to work. Is it tough? You're right. It's tough. It's supposed to be tough. I'm glad it's tough, because if it wasn't, I'd have way more competition. It's supposed to be hard.
Man.
I mean, that's the deal.
That's good. It's
good. Supposed to be hard.
Well, and snow especially. I mean, lawn care is one whole thing. You can't, everybody and their brother has a lawnmower, right? But to get a truck, a nicer truck, get a plow, a nicer plow. That's my dealer told me. My sales guy. He's like, hey, it's Big Boy Club, because I was like, hey, why is there only 0% on a plow? He's like, no. He goes, that's not how this works. And I'm like, what do you mean? The tone of his voice changed my entire perspective. I just started on like a different, different tone or different drum beat. And he was like, that's not how snow works, bud. And then I get to meet my friend Bedell, and he's like, hey, before you pull the trigger on anything, let's get dinner. And I bought him 4 or 5 different dinners at Black Rock over here in Novi, Michigan. Spending $500, $600, $700 in food on the front end, which, I don't mind spending $500, $600, $700 on food, investing in education. But it saved me and made me tens. I mean, and dude, we're so peanuts compared to like a Perficut, right? In terms of business size, but it saved me and made me tens of thousands of dollars. And you know what? I just don't know any other way to say it. Like, spend some time figuring this stuff out, sharpen the pencils, I think is what the accountants say. And before you start submitting those bids. But here's the point. That's why we're talking about it now. That's why we're talking about it now in July and August. So you guys have 2, 3, 4 months ahead of you. Of course, when you want to get those last minute contracts out in November and December, we get it. We've all been there, but have all this stuff ready in, August and September. So that way, like I always say on the podcast, Wayne Gretzky, he's famous for saying, how'd you get so many goals? He said, I always skated to where the puck was going to be. And so if I'm talking about snow now, this is my point to tell you guys, I'm trying to be 6 weeks ahead of where you need to be. So that's where I'm trying to put a friendly reminder in your cap. Hey, get those calculators out, get those formulas out, go to your snow shows, go call somebody, beg somebody, take somebody to lunch, whatever you got to do, and just be transparent, open the books. Hey, what would you do if you were me? That's the kind of conversations I would encourage you to have. Kory, this has been good. Time wise, we got this is a good episode for me. I'm pretty comfortable with what we talked about today. I had a couple other bullet points. We can always get you back on, and you're just a plethora of knowledge. Such a great resource in the industry. I don't take it for granted our friendship. But I also definitely don't take it for granted our your business acumen. You guys have a great company out there. You guys are really well known. So anything else you want to maybe talk about? Just kind of open mic before we wrap it up. But man, I didn't know you'd crush it that much with snow in 40 minutes or less, brother.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff we could have talked about. You and I could probably go back and forth for a couple hours. But yeah, maybe we can do this again here whenever you find time. I know you're always cranking, but yeah, just. Again, you're spot on, Brian. It's right now. I mean, we work on snow 12 months a year. You guys got to be thinking snow, and I'm not, and that includes looking at some equipment, even though that stuff can be bought, but there's going to be some limitations on what you can get this year. But getting those snow bids out, getting your pricing adjusted. If you don't change your pricing this year, I don't understand.
Yeah,
I just don't understand. I'm just mind blown, but but you got to be making those adjustments and, just be thinking about your business. And and make changes when you see them. I talk to so many people, but I'll work on my lawn care next winter and I'll fix that later. Fix it now. Take action, keep Kalpas, take action. Like I'm just a guy that if I see something that's broken, I just try to fix it.
Yeah.
Let's attack it, and at least let's all be aware of it. We know what's going on in the economy. It's going to be tough for a couple of years, probably to make record. You're not going to make record profit, but if you're not careful and you don't do the right things, guys, you're going to be out of business. You really are. I mean, that's as blunt as I can be. You're going to be sitting there going, "Holy shit, I don't have any cash."
That's good. That's good. Well, maybe this will be part one. We'll do a part two here in the next week or two. We'll get you back on. Next one we can talk about equipment employees, because I think that was something that you and Leroy spent a lot of time talking about as well, like right sizing, focusing on things that make money, finding the equipment. Doesn't always have to be new. You guys went into a bunch of great content and conversation back on the Green Grind podcast. Guys, if you want to check it out, we'll leave a link in the show note. Go back and check out the most recent episode that Kory did, or maybe 2 episodes back at the time that our episodes drop. And it was just a really, really good conversation. It was a good Q&A. And Kory, I don't know if you guys are open to it, but I would encourage you to do it again. It was really good. And next time you guys do it, I need to make sure to find out whenever you guys do it so I can submit a question too, because anytime I can pick the brain of a Kory Ballard, I'm always thankful and grateful to do so, man. So appreciate you. And where can people find you guys really quick? And we'll button this thing up, brother.
Yeah. So Ballard Products, Brian, obviously Brian's 10 works on there. You guys have been super supportive there. Brian, your code absolutely is awesome, and we appreciate the support there. So that's ballard-inc.com. Can't miss us there. We're on Instagram, Facebook. If you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, you're going to get really tired of seeing me. But and then, of course, the Green Grind drops every Tuesday. You can find us on Instagram there. And a lot of people are writing into us and saying, hey, I think I got a cool story. I'd love to be a guest. So we encourage you guys to do that. And, we keep trying to just, put out good episodes. And Brian, we certainly appreciate your support. And we'll obviously be out at LAL. We'll be at Expo this year. I don't think I have too many speaking engagements, which is kind of nice for me, because then I get to just have fun. And I just love networking. I love talking to guys about their business and what's going on in the industry. And so that's all I got for today. I appreciate you having me on, and we'll do it whenever you got time.
Sounds good, brother. All right, man. Well, it's mutual. The feeling's mutual. Right back at you. Appreciate you guys supporting the Brian's 10. You guys have been blowing it up this year like crazy, and I know they appreciate the support. Business is booming over there at Ballard Products. There's a couple hundred products. So if you guys need mower blades, catch pros coming up for fall, leaf baggers, all that kind of stuff. You guys need mulching blades, safety gear. Kory, I gotta get on the website and order some more mower magic. My guys were washing the equipment this morning, and they use the rest of it. So I got to go get some more magic. They're like, we love this stuff. I'm like, all right, sure, whatever, man, whatever makes you happy. So I got to get some more of that. But thank you guys for checking out this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. We really appreciate you guys listening in. Hopefully this stuff helped you guys out. Kory and I both talk fast. We're like highly caffeinated dudes. So go back, re-listen to the episode, maybe put it on 0.75 speed. You know what I'm saying? And that way you guys can actually hear all the nuggets that Kory was dropping, talking about snow and being profitable. So guys, that's what we got on today's show. Appreciate you listening. As always, don't forget to leave the ratings and reviews, that 5-star rating and a couple sentence review. We really do appreciate that. And that's what we got. So guys, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. the podcast drops, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Lawns, landscaping, and outdoor awesomeness, that's what your business does best. Managing your vehicles and optimizing efficiency with the latest technology is what we do best. GPS Track It provides a 24/7 view of where your company vehicles are and how efficiently they're operating, saving you time and money. With more than 12,000 customers, GPS Track It has delivered peace of mind for lawn and landscaping companies for 20 years. Ready to protect your vehicles and save money? Talk with one of our fleet advisors. There's no pressure, no hassles. Call 833-385-0252 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to learn more. Those details are in the show notes. GPS Track It.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.